The WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Circus Sports. Circus Sports is back with their Circus Survivor and Circus Millions contest. $14 million in prizes up for grabs. Head over to circusports.com to sign up today. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Know me, know the voice of the guy. It's me, really Row, feeling Row to Row from Junior here at your service. And we're back, baby. We're back for another four games in the WNBA.
Yeah,
is
4 games.
That's what we're at today. Oh man, good Saturday. Got my guy, Scott Studio Right Show. Scott, what's going on?
Yeah, nothing much. Chilling throughout the weekend, which is always nice. But baseball's kind of killed me throughout the past week, if I'm being fully honest.
That's a narcotic, man. That's a narcotic.
What is chilling or losing money in baseball?
Losing money in baseball. I would much rather chill. And I think that I would have a much better time than to be doing that narcotic that is baseball, where you can handicap it perfectly right and the game not go your way.
But what if I told you that I also
the Tampa Bay Rays starting out 30-4 and then going 30 of 32 in their next.
Pretty much. But just to ask, by the way, I don't know if you saw any of it. I tried to dabble in women's soccer yesterday.
I did.
I had Alex Morgan to score in the first half. And I had USA to lead by 2+ goals. That kind of sums up how my week's gone. Alex Morgan, one of the most one of the leading scorers in Team USA history. Can I interest you in a missed penalty kick against Vietnam in the first half? That's how I lost my money. So that was about $200 down the drain. That kind of sums up my week.
Yeah, I saw it. It was brutal. And it's the fact that, that was you got the 2+ goals you needed. And I don't know. I would have been sick about that one. I peeped it. I didn't.
She really missed a penalty kick against Vietnam. I'm just like, what is this? Come on. And that sums it up once again. But either way, point is, it hasn't exactly been the best betting week for me. But still got a couple of days left to try to salvage the whole thing.
Hey man, look. I've dabbled in tennis. I've dabbled in soccer. I've dabbled in a lot. I almost faded Messi yesterday. I didn't do it. I didn't get there. One, because I didn't
avoided anyway because he didn't start.
Oh, he didn't?
It came off the bench, and then he scored the insane free kick goal at the end. So,
well, either way, I would have lost regardless. So, I thought the other team was going to win.
That was a crazy goal, though.
I thought the other team was going to win.
Yeah.
Come on, Messi's debut. Are you sure everybody's going to live to? I thought the other team was going to win. So,
what a wild goal.
Oh, man. It was free kick in the box. All right. Enough about that. We had a show recently. I don't remember what my lock was, but I know it missed. But I did hit the dog of somebody to score a bunch of points. I don't remember who it was.
Okay. Good talk. I don't remember what my plays were, too. I think I won the prop and I lost the lock and dog, I think. Maybe.
I'm going back to Twitter to check my records.
I remember I had the Connecticut team total over in the first half against the Mercury, and they no-showed the first half. I took AT triple-double as my dog, which lost, and I won my prop, but I don't remember what the prop was.
Well, we both took Cheyenne Parker over 7.5 rebounds at plus money. That cashed.
That got there, okay.
And luckily for us, because she came off the bench. Who goes to All-Star, a starter, and then comes back playing off the bench?
And she wasn't even a bench player for the only game after that. I know that we were originally going to do a show a couple days ago, and that ended up getting scrapped. But she also came off the bench in that game, too. And Parker's a good player, so I don't really understand what – it's not like the replacement's doing anything, too. We'll get into that in a second. But it feels like some coaches try to get too cute with it. Your team won 8 straight games. Why are you changing the rotation?
Yeah.
I don't get it, but –
back to my records. I lost my lot. Draymond Links under 86.5 in the first half. And once I saw, I think it was a 50-point first quarter. I was like, all right, that's not hitting. Dog, Nafisa Collier at 25 plus 220. That was easy. She's a bucket. And then Cheyenne Parker, like we said, over 7.5 rebounds plus 100. Good money hitting 2+ money bets. Wish we could have got the lock, but it's good. We're on to Cincinnati. All right. Speaking of Cincinnati, TBT, you got Cincinnati alumni team and the Xavier alumni team
Are
playing
you a
today.
big TBT guy?
I like it when I get to see guys I haven't seen hoop in a long
That's a
time.
lot. That's a lot of fun. You get the nostalgia
Yeah,
effect.
yeah.
Well,
Like one
Cincinnati and
time,
Xavier, they might kill each other, so that's a fun
one
time.
time, Brandon Trish was hooping for the Syracuse team, and I was like, man, I remember him being at Syracuse. Like, oh
I
yeah,
still
I like
remember the
seeing
first time
old
I saw
guys.
Aaron Kraft in that event.
Oh yeah, like come on, Sensabaugh. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
I love TDT. All right,
You watch any
before we
slam ball
get
yesterday?
no, I didn't. I was on strike because I felt like WNBA should have been on ESPN and not
What are you,
Slam
a
Ball.
writer? You're on strike.
But Slam Ball is cool. Slam Ball is cool. All right, before we get to the slate in the games today, while I'm trying to wipe whatever is irritating my eyes out of my eyes, I got to talk to you about the Circle Millions contest because $14 million in prizes up for grabs. Circle Millions, look, 5 NFL ATS picks a week. That's it, just five. 5 ATS picks a week. Circle Survivor, just pick from different money line winner each week, and you keep surviving. A different money line winner, one game. That's it. Just getting one game right each week through the rest of the season, cash out at the end of the season, enter in Vegas, play from anywhere. Sports Gambling Podcast will be out there the last weekend of August for the bid Circus Sports sign up weekend. And guess what? Circus Sports is where you can go for all the details. Circusports.com. That is circusports.com. All right. Let's go ahead and start getting into this slate. We have 4 games in the W today. First game up on the docket, kicking off fairly soon. So let's go ahead and give it to the people. 1 p.m. on the East Coast, the Atlanta Dream are welcoming the Connecticut Sun. The Sun opening up
Rematch. It's a home
as
and
a
home.
-3.5. Yes, it is immediate
You see
rematch,
three
home
and a
and
half. I
home.
got 1.5.
No, so it opened up -3 and a
Oh,
half
okay. Sorry.
for Connecticut, and now it's -1.5 for the Atlanta Dream. 167.5 is the total injury report here for these two teams. And I have for the wow, I thought I had an injury report. Here we
I don't
go.
really see anything. I see everybody being healthy.
Yeah, that's what I got. Got a everybody that's out is who we expect to be out for these two teams. Other than that, actually, Ari McDonald is not even on the injury report. So we might be seeing an Ari McDonald return here for the Atlanta Dream, which could be interesting. Scott, this line is completely flipped. Are you taking Atlanta Dream as a favorite at home?
Well, I'm trying to think of why the line flipped besides just expecting a much better effort from the Dream after losing to Connecticut a couple days ago in Connecticut. And I guess we have a very unique handicapping spot, which I've never seen before, but I got to at least bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a post-engagement honeymoon phase? Because 2 players got engaged on Connecticut's starting five.
Yes. Dewana Bonner and Alyssa Thomas got engaged over the
They
past
should
couple
get
of
engaged.
days.
AT's giving her getting all the assists just by
Yeah,
passing her
she
the
really
damn ball.
is. Like she really is.
But yeah, they're engaged now. So I was kind of wondering if that would be a bet on or a fade spot. I'm probably leaning fade because I'm assuming the whole team was celebrating at like the engagement party, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was something. They
So
probably was
congrats to
there. They
them, but
probably
we're
was
also
there.
gamblers here, like that. It's got to be a spot where you got to at least consider fading them because I don't know how much AT and the coaching staff, I'm sure, was at the engagement party too. I just think that when you're looking at what probably happened, I wonder how much basketball focus took place over the weekend. So for me, I'm going to go with the Dream in this one. You get a revenge spot, you're going back home. The Dream had a bad game. I still don't know why Billings is starting over Parker, which makes no sense to me because no offense to Billings, I think Parker is the much better player. I don't think it's very close. But for the sake of the potential distraction off the court, I'm going to go with the Dream -1.5.
Oh man. I don't know, man. I think I'm feeding into the narrative, but I'm feeding into it on the other side. I
But there's
think
a
they're
couple
all going.
narratives you can choose from. It's either
Yeah,
like a bet on or a fade.
yeah. I think it's a bet on for me. Let me see here. So these two teams have played 3 times already this season. Connecticut owns the series 2-1, winning once in Atlanta and once in Connecticut. The Dream do have a win in Connecticut as an 8.5 point dog. Uh, mm, The Dream were in that game early, but Connecticut really pulled
Second
away in
half, they
that
just
second
fell apart.
half. Yeah, that second half they really pulled away, and I think I'm gonna stick with my guns. And when I went, I mean, I understand why the line is moving, and you probably getting a sizable amount of money on the Dream at home here. I think if I take the Dream, I'm taking them early. I would take them in the first half, but I'm very very concerned about the second half woes, especially what I saw in that second half of that last game. I think Connecticut's not going away, honestly, and they didn't even get like a really good production from their bench. I think it was all starters that was really carrying them
Mhm.
for the most part. So if we get a Dejanay Carrington sighting or anything like that, that's really going to help them out. And I just don't know what Atlanta is doing. Why is Cheyenne Parker coming off the bench and Mo Billings start? Like nothing against Mo, but Cheyenne is an all-star. She's an all-star for a reason. I just don't understand how you just got an all-star and now you're regulated to the bench without injury playing a part. Like if somebody was out and she got all-star because that person was out, I would understand. But I don't know what Atlanta's doing. I don't trust it. Give me Connecticut plus 1.5.
Are you going to take the over
And
or under? I think I'm leaning under because they just played against each other.
me too. Second half, second game, and back immediate back to back. We just take the under, and I'm with you
Yeah.
immediately under, and it actually went down a point too. So uh, lines going our way. Props. Well, I mean, it didn't hit last game, so I'm so excited to play Alyssa Thomas assist. And the thing is, it didn't hit. She still got 7.
Mhm. Well, I still assume that you're looking at a spot where Thomas is still going to put up good numbers. The question is, can she do enough to get you that triple double or double double performance? I'll tell you right now, if FanDuel does not offer a triple double odds, she's having a triple double. It's just going to happen because they finally gave it last game and she wasn't even that close.
Yeah, I
I
don't
do
even
not see
see it.
triple
I don't
double odds.
see it. She's gonna get a triple double.
Yeah, she's
It's
getting a
gonna
triple double.
happen.
It's going to happen.
It's
But
all right. So go ahead and Alyssa Thomas, and it's at 7.
I don't even see Bonner 20 plus points. So I don't know what's going on with these.
It's at 7.5. Her assist is at.
They got
It's,
Bonner for 25 plus points, but not 20 plus points. Interesting. Unless her prop is already at 20. No, her prop's at 18 and a half. They should have 20. But okay,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. I don't see 20 either. It's weird.
They're just a bunch of haters.
They're scary. So she's scoring 20. Okay, so we got Alyssa Thomas over 7.5. We got DeWanna Bonner over 18.5. Because FanDuel is not, we have Alyssa Thomas to get a triple double because all the props that they're not offering is the ones that are definitely going to hit. Hey, Gindy was right last time. It was
I
a
know.
Ryan Howard game.
Pick the right guard for
Yeah,
Atlanta.
he did it. Shout out to Gindy. Shout out to Gindy for picking the right guard for once. I mean, do you want to take a stab at it again? They're just so
Uh,
good. They're so good. It's like it doesn't matter who has the good game for them.
yeah, it really doesn't matter that much. I really am not sure what I actually like for the props because I'm leaning under in the game. So the question is, if I am going to trust this engagement fade, then I guess I'm on some unders. Having said that,
Uh-huh.
taking 18 and a half under on Bonner scary as hell, and I don't want to take under in Thomas assists because she's a demon. So I don't know
But I've
really know
seen
what
her.
to do. You know?
I've seen her get 7 in one quarter in the first
Yeah.
quarter.
Well,
I've seen
Daniel's
her get
throwing in
7.
the comment section that Thomas had 7 last game with 0 in the first quarter.
I know it was so brutal, man. I was really pissed.
But that
All
tells you
right,
that the point is the assist should be there because she just had one quarter, which was rock bottom, and then she remembered how to pass the ball.
Ryan Howard's been too hot. She's got to cool down. Give me Ryan Howard under 18.5.
Does that
That's
mean you're
just
pivoting to Gray over? Or do you just
mm.
think Howard goes like 6 for
No.
25?
Let's not push it with the
Okay.
over. We're still saying it's an under game. Let's just go ahead and just go. She goes 6 for 25.
Okay.
Hopefully. All right. Next game on the slate, we have the Las Vegas Aces traveling to Minnesota, playing Minnesota Lynx. The Aces are a minus 14.5 point favorite. Actually came down half a point, opened up at minus 15. 170.5 is the total injury report here for these two teams. And I see for the Minnesota Lynx, Jessica Shepard still out. Rachel Banham is out. Nalia Chanwa is out. And for the Aces, we have Candace Parker, who is out till about actually End of the month. Out about to the end of the month with that ankle
Do you
injury.
think that matters?
No.
Okay.
Which is crazy to say, but
I'm
no.
asking because Candace Parker was the only starter on that team to not make an All-Star game. And I was
Yeah.
kind of curious, even though we know defensively she can be solid, she's a good facilitator as well. She's past her prime, if we're being honest. She can still be effective at times, but she's not the same player she used
I
to
think
be.
her contribution will come into play during the playoffs, not the regular season.
I can agree with that, which is why I'm sure she's not going to play for. They're probably going to just be very gentle with her for the rest of the season because why bother? But I
Yeah.
am kind of wondering. I wanted to just get that on record that I don't think Candace Parker matters that much for this team's regular season either. So I wanted to at least get that on record because I know that she's probably a top 5 player in the history of the league.
All Candace Parker being out and what that does for me is it just makes me feel better about just taking Asia Wilson over everything.
Yeah, I like the rebounds especially for Wilson because you know that Candace wasn't scoring that much, but she still, is a solid rebounder. So that
Yeah.
definitely.
And it's just another body. Like they bring in Kia Stokes, who kind of
Yeah.
just comes and fills in the gap a little bit. But for the most part, it's Asia working down low, doing a lot of that grunt work. We look at that last game against the Storm, and Stokes had 0 points, 5 rebounds in 19 minutes. Asia had 23 points, 15 rebounds in 35 minutes. So it's Asia Wilson over everything for me. And I mean, I see the line going down, but the Aces have destroyed Minnesota.
Then again, they also destroyed Seattle, but the argument is it was post All-Star break. They came out flat. They still arguably should have covered the game, but it looked like they half no-showed or they were up early and they kind of coasted.
But look here what they've done against Minnesota. 3 times they played this season against Minnesota. Vegas has won all 3 times. They have covered all 3 times. The line in all 3 games has been 15, 17 and a half, and a minus 11 and a half. And they won that minus 11 and a half by like 40, 50 points. So.
Yeah, the comparison, though, is that they played Seattle twice. They won each game by 33, and they didn't or 33 or more, and they still didn't cover the massive spread they had there. I'm not taking the Lynx. I've actually picked them on VSiN to beat the Sparks, but that's mostly fading the Sparks. I thought it was going to be a close game, so I took the money line instead of the spread, which was the right move. But once again, that's really just because the Sparks are injured to hell and back. The Aces are still a different animal, and besides Collier, I'm really not sold on the rest of that team. I think that Diamond is solid. She's also very young, so the consistency is a bit hit or miss with her, and I feel like that's one area she's going to improve on moving forward. But the Aces have the defense, they have the firepower, and the Lynx really just don't have that. So I think that the Lynx are going to kind of be on the wrong side of a scheduling spot here, where the Aces were able to win. But I do think there's a lot of coachable moments with regard to the Aces' last performance. I think they come out and I think they bury the Lynx and win by 20.
All right. So this is how I'm going to play it.
Do you agree with that, by the way, that it was a win against Seattle, but there's a lot of coaching moments there because they could have played a lot better?
Yeah. I mean, I was on Seattle, so I'm like, I'm not.
But you were watching and you realized, oh, the Aces really look a little bit flat.
And it was, I thought it was just a post All-Star. All-Star was in Vegas. Like, you let loose when you're at home at All-Star. Like, it was just, I felt like it was a little bit too much rest. And then they had to fly to Seattle. Now they're going to Minnesota. And so that's why I was fading them there. I don't think I want to fade them here, honestly. And I'm actually going to back them in the first half here. There's a significant difference between these two teams in the first half in the past 5 games. Aces scoring 47.8 points per game, and the Minnesota is scoring 39.6. That's good for first and 8th in the WNBA in the first half. You look at what they're giving up, and Minnesota's is 7th in opponents' points per game, 41.8. Aces first in opponents' points per game, 34.8. Significantly better first half team. This team has dominated them over the course of the season. I'm taking the Aces first half team total over. I'm taking the Aces minus whatever. Is there
like 9.5 maybe
8.5?
8.5. Okay.
I'm not afraid of it. I'll take the 8.5.
Yeah, I like the Aces.
I think they buried them.
I
think they buried them. All right, same. So we're on Aces here. Total. I think the Aces could mess around and score 100.
I was going to say, I think I feel better about an under for Lynx team total under because the Aces could win this game 95-60, and I wouldn't be shocked.
So,
I can see a world
but
where that
look
happens.
and look at last game. Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, Asia Wilson, all of them 20+ points
Hmm.
with minimal contribution from anybody else. Chelsea Gray didn't even. I'm gonna be on Chelsea Gray today, but Chelsea Gray didn't even have contribution. She was 2 for 10. Like I think that they're gonna score and they're gonna score in bunches.
With
So
the exception of the
yeah.
one Bonner game where Bonner had 40+ points earlier this season, the Aces have done a really good job of limiting opponent star players. And if Collier has an off night, the Lynx are probably not crossing 75 if you're just expecting Collier to have an inefficient 20-point game. And with
uh,
that being the case, I just think the Aces are going to have a good game plan for her and force anybody else to beat them. And I don't think anybody else can. I think I'm going to lean to the under, but it's mostly the Lynx team total under. I think they contribute basically nothing to this game. It's a
all
pure
right.
blowout script. I like the favorite on the team total over, and I like the underdog to go under. So I just expect a rout. And I think we're
Yeah,
on the same page.
yeah. It feels pretty standard and easy, and it kind of actually scares me how easily I feel like we came to this conclusion. But
Well, it might make you feel better that the line is dropped. So people are apparently making a case for the Lynx, but I'm not one of them.
yeah, I'm good. All right. Next game on the slate. Well, no, before we do that, gotta talk to you about Underdog Fantasy because Underdog Fantasy Best Ball Mania 4 is back, and guess what? $15 million in prizes. Our sponsors are great. $15 million in prizes. Underdog Pick'em is a great way to get down on your favorite player props, especially in the WNBA. We've been having a good old time making some underdog player prop parlays in there, throwing some money on it. And Underdog is just available in so many states across the U.S. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Alrighty here. We're in Dallas. 8 p.m. in Dallas. I think that's a Drake song. 8 p.m. in Dallas.
Are you a
That's
fan, by the
actually
way, of the Drake interview from a bed? Because that's something I would do, and I'm not sure if that was actually mainstream or not.
what? His
Just
what?
Drake did an interview for a podcast, and he was drinking wine while like on a mattress. He was just chilling in bed for an interview, and I'm like, that's something I would do. That's
Yeah.
something that I would do. But I don't
Cozy.
know.
Got
That
to
was
keep it cozy. Hey,
yeah,
keep
you
it
do.
cozy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Los Angeles Sparks traveling to Dallas, play Dallas Wings. Wings open up -5.5. They're up to -7.5. 164.5 is the total that actually dropped from 167.
Now the Sparks are actually healthier than they were before. They're still not healthy, but they're moving in the right direction, I guess.
Chine Gumake still out. Nia Cloudon's still out. Katie Lou Samuelson's still out. Other than that,
Canada
looks
came back.
like look like we got some people coming back for them.
I see
And
Samuelson as a questionable tag, by the way. So
oh,
it's not
okay,
official that she's out, but you can assume, if I had to guess, probably 60% chance she's out, if I had to guess.
all right. Dallas Wings still healthy here. Expected to see Lou Lopez some point this month, hopefully. We're doing it right. Are you doing? I'm doing it. I'm doing it. This slate needs something crazy to happen. There's got to be something crazy to happen on this slate, and I'm doing it.
I don't know if
The
Dallas
Sparks
is
are
the
winning
team
this
that I
game.
want to fade.
The Sparks are winning this game, man.
I think it's
I
going to
don't
be
know how they're going to do
close.
it. They're going to win. I don't know how they're going to do it. They're going to win.
I think I'm not going to lay the points with Dallas. I'm going to take the Sparks with the points. I'm not sure if they're going to get it done because I do think this Dallas team is solid. And McCown is my arch nemesis because every time I watch her, she's atrocious. And then I don't watch her, and she's been really good the last like 5 games or so. But
Yeah.
I do think Dallas is going to win. I don't think they're going to cover. I actually see 8.5 on FanDuel at like a juiced -120 towards the
Oh,
Sparks.
I would love the eight and a
I'm
half.
taking the 8.5. Like, I think that spread's too big. Dallas is a team that I think is going to raise their level to win games, but they don't care by margin. So I'm going to lean actually to the Sparks to cover, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Sparks hang in there. I think if you like the Sparks, you kind of have to like the under, right? Because the Sparks can't score.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that would be my
I think
preferred
it's
play. I think it's correlated. I'll lean to the Sparks and I'll lean to the under because I do think the game will be played more at the Sparks pace. But I do acknowledge the Sparks are still not a very good basketball team, but they're healthier. You can argue that the odds
It's the
makers haven't
injuries.
fully
They were
adjusted
never
to it.
bad. It was the injuries. It was the
That's what I'm
injuries.
saying. I'm saying that they're not bad, but they were really bad when the injuries happened because you were using your backups and you had no other options. At least the Sparks are getting some players back, and I wonder if the odds makers are a little bit slow to readjust the lines. This feels a little bit disrespectful. I think Dallas wins by like 5.
3 games this season. Sparks have won every single one. Covered as a 5.5 point dog, 79-61. Covered as a 2.5 point dog, 76-74. Covered as a 2.5 point dog, 93-83. They have dominated this team. And all those games being played in the month of March and January, not January, June. I can't even talk. Jesus Christ. In June. Man, I mean, I get it. And this is a different team and they're injured, but this is the letdown spot from just dethroning the freaking Liberty, and you get a really, really good win on the road.
That
Really,
was
really
a
good
really good
win. And now you have this Los Angeles team who has lost 5 straight, 6 straight,
It
something like
feels like
that.
15, but it's like 6.
They just covered their first game in forever against the Minnesota Lynx and still lost. So it's like you were almost there. Like you almost felt what it was like to win again, and you were almost there. But now you're getting healthier. You're back from All-Star break. You want to turn the season around because you can still make the playoffs. It just feels like this
That's
Los
WNBA though. Like
Angeles team.
the Liberty last year were what, like 7 games under, and they still made the playoffs. 6
Yes,
under. Like
they went
stupid.
on a run. They went on a run.
Yeah.
So I think it's I think it's the Sparks, man. Like that game against Minnesota showed me something, and they're in it, and they're gonna compete. I think it's the Sparks, man. The Sparks is the
So
play. Sparks plus 7.5. Sparks on the money line. That's me.
there's one thing that I want to add for this. I wanted to look at the actual schedule for Dallas. There is a multiple day layoff because their next game is on Tuesday. They play Connecticut at home next.
Oh, come
It's
on.
like that's a solid sandwich spot with the
Look at
Liberty
the
before.
Look at the next 3 games. Look at the next 3 games. They have
Yeah, they play
Connecticut,
Connecticut, Washington, and
Washington.
Vegas. Yeah, this is a letdown spot if
This
I've seen
is
one.
this is
So.
this is a lock. This is a lock. Lock up the Sparks plus 7.5, man. That's gonna cash.
Once again, you can take the 8.5 on FanDuel, but that's a pretty bad scheduling spot for the Wings where they're easily looking ahead.
Absolutely. All right, we're both on the under as well. 164.5. Props. What do you like here? Did we go over props for the last game? I don't think we did.
We did not.
I said I like Chelsea Gray, so just throw Chelsea Gray 20 plus.
I like
for,
Asia Wilson to have a good game.
Yeah,
I might be leaning
Asia
to
too.
Collier under actually in that Lynx game just to be contrarian because I do think that once again the Aces have done a good job of limiting opponents' star players, and Collier's all they have. So I can see the Aces having a good game plan there. For this game though, I'm trying to think of what I want to do because I want to make a case
NECA
for
over.
Yeah, I was going to say NECA over is the obvious one. Do I want to make? I don't even see lines on Canada, so I can't even make a case for Canada. Yeah, NECA's at 19.5. I like the over on that one. I don't really see much else.
Yeah, there's nothing else from the Sparks. They don't. Let me check bets.
I want to figure out which Wings player to fade. Do I fade a Goombawale, which is probably a no, Sabale or Howard? I think I'm leaning Howard if I'm picking who I'm going to fade at 16.5. Her number's the same as Sabale, but I don't know. I feel like I'm going to fade one of those two. I'm just not sure which one.
All right, I see Jordan Canada on Bet365 minus 115 for 12.5 points.
I like the over on Canada.
Yeah, I think Canada is a good
12.5 feels pretty short there, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, she's averaging 12.6 this season.
I like her. Oh, well, they don't have her assist. Never mind. But they do have
She had 12 points last game, but she only went 3 for 9 from the floor. So I think that number's a bit low.
All right, let's do it. I'm with you. 12.5 for Jordan Canada as well. Okay. Sparks. The Sparks can make me so happy today. Like they really, really can. They can make my day today. All right. Last game of slate. Chicago Sky traveling to Seattle to play the Seattle Storm. Minus 1.5 for the Storm. It opened up -2 Sky. Now it's -1.5 Storm. 150.
They really saved the best game for last on the card.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Injury report here for these two teams, and we have pretty standard for the Chicago Sky. Nothing new to report there. Nothing new to report Seattle Storm. Expect to see who you've been seeing for the past few games, both of these two teams. So Seattle's got a comfortable lead for last place.
I mean, the Sky are trying their best, I guess, to catch up, but
I
Seattle's not losing.
know, but the Sky technically are in the like they're. I think they're actually in the playoffs technically. Where's the?
I
Let me see.
hope for the league's sake they're not in the playoff picture.
No, I think they're actually technically in the
I know
playoffs. I
they're
think
8 and
they're the eight
13.
seed.
The record's not as bad because they started off decently, but
They
damn, that
are
team
the
sucks.
they are in the playoffs. They are the
Yeah,
8 seed at 8 and 13, and then you have Los Angeles at 7 and 14, and then looky here, guess what? The Phoenix Mercury at 10 at six
it's
and
almost
15.
impossible to hit a plus 1,000 bet on a miss the playoff spot because it feels like every team in the league gets into the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's what 8 of 12 get into the playoffs.
Yep.
I think I'm leaning Seattle. This is a very
Are you
weird game for
really?
line movement, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're
Like,
telling
why
me
is
that this line moved 3.5 points with the Storm against the Sky? Like, somebody's got to be very confident because the public's not betting on Seattle. Betting on this game. The public doesn't know this game exists. I think I got to take Seattle. You think the public is like
Yuck.
lining up to ignore the Aces game and bet the Storm on the late night? Like, no, clearly some sharp hammered it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go. Let's take the money line though.
Give me
They
the
can win by
Jewel
one.
Lloyd 25, like 30 plus point game performance to carry them
I
to a
think.
win.
Oh yeah. Is there a performance double on that? I'll bet that any day of
I'm
the
sure
week.
there is.
Let's go look. Let's go look and see how much that could pay out. I bet that any day of the week because if they're gonna win, that's how.
It's the
Let's
only way
see.
they can win.
Jewel to score 30. First of all, there's no other option than 30.
Yeah. They just don't give it to you.
No other option. I have to pick 30. Okay, Jewel Lloyd scored 30 plus points in Seattle to win 4-1. I mean, I think I would have liked a little bit better odds than that, but
If you just want the 30 plus, that's plus 200 by itself.
oh really?
Yep.
What's the prop at? 22 and a half.
I see it on FanDuel. So if they have
She
the
loses.
regular points, if you ignore the winning attachment, and it's plus 200.
She needs a bounce back. She was really bad against the Aces, man.
But once
That
again,
was
the
the
Aces
last
do a
leg
good
of.
job of defending their other team's best player. So
I know. I wish I thought about that. That was the last leg of the parlay for me. It was brutal. All right. Yikes. All right. We're going with. All right. I guess we're going Seattle. I
I think I
hate this
have
game
to.
so much. Yeah. Yeah, we do. All right. We're going Seattle.
I'm going to lean under in the game, too. You don't get that many totals in the 150s, but I think it's warranted here. Chicago during the offseason, I faded entirely because, once again, they were missing a bunch of their best players from last year. Then they
uh-huh,
started off well for 3 games, and I regretted everything in life, and now they're
uh-huh.
bad again. And on top of that, the only thing I liked about this team that was left over was their coach-GM, and he fled to join the NBA. So they got nothing that I actually like besides Copper, kinda. And truth is, Mabry's fallen off pretty hard ever since the first month of the season.
Yeah.
So they don't have anything. I think Chicago's just a bad team. So I'm going to go with the Storm. They're not good, but they're at home. I know they haven't been good at home either, but they find ways to cover. It does seem very sketchy that this line has moved 3.5 points in what looks like a tank bowl game. So I'm going to go with the Storm, and they'll find a way to win.
Yep. So little bit of numbers for the under here. You have two of the teams that are bottom of the league in scoring. Seattle is 10th at 74.6 points per game. Chicago is 11th at 73.6 in the past 6 games. Both of those, again, 10th and 11th, bottom of the WNBA. Only team worse than them is the Phoenix Mercury, who the Chicago Sky just lost to. So I'm with you. Under Seattle feels like a really good standard play there. Player props, I'm on Jewel, and I'm taking Jewel over, especially in a bounce back game.
Well, it's
Really not
correlated because we're
interested.
picking them to win the game.
Yep. And going here, really not much else I really want to target here. Maybe easy over 8.5 rebounds.
Yeah.
Expect to see a lot of misses, a lot of chances to clean up. But Mercedes Russell be pissing me off because she be in the way sometimes. Like, get out the way, let Easy get the boards. Other than that, I really don't have anything else. What you targeting?
I don't have anything else either. I like the under. It's 2 really bad teams. But since I have Seattle winning, it's correlated to Jewel playing well. So I'll go with the over. I thought maybe of taking Mabry under, but at this point, I mean, they've dropped the props, and there's nothing I can
I
do
think it's
about
at
it.
like, what is it, at 13.5 now?
That's what I'm saying. But like, even at
Yeah,
that
that's
point,
brutal.
she forgot how to shoot. So I don't know what to do with her. So I'm just gonna pass entirely. I got nothing else.
All right. Let's move on to the lock dog, and let's throw prop in there. Lock dog and prop portion of the show. For my lock, how do I want to play this today? Let's go with. Do we go with the?
I feel like you liked a couple of things today.
Yeah, I do.
A decent
But
amount.
so let's go with the aces. Go back to that first half team total. That first half team total's been money, man. I'm gonna play it again. Give me the first half team total over 46.5 for the first half for the Las Vegas Aces, minus 125. I think they've been over this number every first half. They played against the Minnesota this season. I gotta go back and double check that, but
That wouldn't shock me.
uh, they've been scoring in the first half and scoring in bunches. Last 5 games, you talk about what they've done in the first half, and they were scoring 47.8. That gets me over this total. You look at the pace that they move at in the first half, and they're moving at a blazing fast pace in the first half. Third in WNBA for the past 5 games in pace, so I expect them to control the pace of the game. Even though they're in Minnesota, they're going to go out there, score a bunch. I like Aces first half team total over 46.5 minus 125 for my lock. For my dog, give me the Sparks on the money line, man. Come on. Like, give me the Sparks on the money line. That's 3-1. Give me the Sparks 3-1 on the money line. Get it done today. Or should I just take them in the first half in case Dallas comes back in the second half?
I'll let you figure that out for yourself.
The first half is 2-1. They really did start better. Let me see here. Let me look at one thing really quickly. All right, I'm not gonna. No, we're just gonna stick with. We're gonna stick with my gut. They win the game. They're gonna win the game. So 3-1, Sparks win the game. Get it done. For my prop, gotta go back to my. Ooh, gotta go back to my dog. That's an auto bet. Everybody knows I'm playing Alyssa Thomas. I'm not gonna steal you like that. Oh, or I could do Chelsea Gray. I do think Chelsea Gray has a bounce back game. All right, everybody knows I like Jewel Lloyd. We're not gonna. Everybody knows I like Jewel Lloyd.
Yeah.
Chelsea Gray over 14.5 points. She has a bounce back game. I'll actually take her up to 20, which is 3-1. So give me a Chelsea Gray point slider 14.5, 23-1.
I like the odds there for 20. And we know how good of a player she is.
Yep, very much so. All right, what you doing here, Scott?
All right. So for my lock, I had a couple of options, but I think for this one, you know what? I think I'm just going to trust my instincts on this one. This line and the line movement is very, very sketchy. I'm going to take Seattle money line on this one at around minus 125, which is the best line I see. The fact that this line has moved roughly 5 points overnight in favor of Seattle, who sucks. Like, this team is really bad. There's 5 points of line movement in it. It tells me that it feels like the Sharps are absolutely hammering Seattle. I know Chicago stinks. At some point, I know that the coach and the GM, same guy, had to, do what's best for him. If you're a player on that team and your head coach have just completely jumped ship mid-season, the morale on the team's got to be shot, right? I mean, I don't know like what they're exactly playing for at this point. There's a lot of
It's not just your
uncertainty
head
with the
coach.
team.
He was the GM too.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
was
Like,
the
the
GM
same
too.
guy. Like, he just jumped ship and said, all right, I'm out of here. And
Shout
now
out
the
to my
players
frat
are
brother
looking
James
around like, I know
Wade.
what the hell we're supposed to do. But I think it's very weird that this much money is coming on Seattle, this much line movement. They're 4-17, and the line's moved 5 points. I'm going to go with the Storm here. This line feels very, very weird. I'm going to take Seattle money line as my lock at minus 125. Might blow up in my face, but the line movement does scream something's off to me. So I'm going to go with Seattle. For my dog, I'm going to go with Jewel Lloyd, 30-plus points at plus 200. I just think that she's in line for a very solid game. kind of ties into the Sky once again, not exactly playing good basketball lately. But looking at the last few games they played, they gave up 80 to the Mercury, gave up 84 to Connecticut, gave up 88 to Atlanta, 82 to Atlanta before that, 87 to the Fever. They gave up 78 to the injured Sparks. They're not good defensively. And I think that once again, if Seattle's going to win, it's kind of correlated, but I think that Jewel Lloyd's going to have a good game. So give me Jewel Lloyd for a bounce back against a weaker defense at plus 200 for 30 plus points. And for my prop, I'm going to go to the Bet365 play that I mentioned. I'm going to go with Jordan Canada over 12.5 points. You said it was 12.5, right?
Yep.
So once again, I think that the Sparks are pretty live to make this game interesting. But I do think that Minnesota, I think that when you're looking at Dallas defensively, it's a really bad scheduling spot because they have the Liberty before this, then 3 good opponents after this, and this is the cupcake schedule or cupcake opponent in the middle. I can see a lackluster effort, and I do think that Canada, who had 12 points last game despite only shooting 3 for 9, is in line for a better game. Give me Canada over 12.5 points.
All right. There you go. Hey, full slate here. And so Scott's about to get this out as soon as possible. If you're listening to audio version, probably missed the 1 o'clock game. Sorry about that. But hey, that's why you got to tap in on YouTube, NBA Gambling Podcast on YouTube, and you can catch us live when we live stream the game. Like the video. We got about 20 plus people in here. Like the video. Make sure you do that. And leave a review. Leave a review wherever you get your podcast. 2 games tomorrow. We might be back. Possibly, potentially.
Depends on when the lines come in.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Other than that, I have he's at Ratio Radio. I'm at really real __ right now. I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just gonna give you your time back. We are out of here.